Right. A very good evening to each and every one of you. Welcome, welcome, welcome in the ring. Wherever you guys are joining us from this evening, whether it's in Guyana, it's in the Caribbean, it's for the North, it's North America, it's Europe, it's Asia, it's Antarctica. Wherever you guys are joining us from this evening, you know as you come in the ring, you got to share the live stream. Folks, coming up, Shurwayne Holder, the one and only, who is going to be contesting in this very, very heated PNCR Decides 2021, the road to the 21st biannual Delegates Congress, where they're going to be choosing the leader of the PNCR and chairman and general secretary and a whole host of other people ready to serve. Folks, it's getting quite interesting out there. Don't you think so? Welcome in the ring, guys. As you come in, we encourage you guys to share the live stream, guys. We are ready to get to it. No time to waste this evening. We see all the usual suspects out there. We are fired up, guys, and we are ready to go. Let me see if we can get that bell for you guys and wake us up a little bit here. Welcome in the ring, guys. Yep, welcome in the ring. We don't want it too loud. Just the right amount, guys. Welcome in the ring. Good to have each and every one of you with us, folks, and let's get right to it. I see all the usual suspects are there. If you guys are ready, we are ready at our entry, wherever you're joining us from. Again, if you're somewhere around the world, somewhere going to work, coming home, you're in your living room, you're in front of your smart television, feet up, you got your Cokes in your hand, you got your popcorn ready, guys. We are ready to get to it as well. Let's see what's on the fight card this evening, guys. You know, we ain't wasting time these days. Ready to get to it. You know, we here got to be a little extra, guys. It's confusion powder. Well, of course, you all know. As long as we live in this place we call Guyana, it's confusion powder. As long as we get some of them people leading we, it's going to be confusion powder. It's not going to happen anyway, though. First, we got to get them out of office. We got to depose of them. And then you're all going to see a lot of things going right. You all know. Volmay Wilson, no. Roxanne Myers, no. Chin Sung Henry, no. Since August 2nd, rather. 2020. Oh, my God. It's like all hell break loose. Anything going right in this country? Anything going right? Folks, things tight. And some of you who sharing this live stream, like Orin Don Cook, like Horace Thomas, like Sean Nelville, asking us how tight. Folks, things are very, very tight. Don't let us get complacent. Things can't sit tight by you. How tight? This tight, folks. We saw this and we could not resist it. You know, folks are complaining. They were promised all manner of things. Many promises were made. Many promises are being made right now. But things tight. And so it looks as though people going back to basics. How tight? This tight. Pressing comb tight. This is how tight. Folks, y'all sharing this live stream. Y'all better share this here. My Christmas time coming. Barrel got to pause, you know. Let them people know things tight here. Remittances got to come. Things are extremely tight. We going back to basics. People, that is how tight. Things tight. How tight things tight by you? Some people say they're mixing the egg now with water to stretch it. That's how things tight. Some people didn't see beef and chicken in a long time. Things tight. How tight? Pressing comb tight. People gone up in the attic and they gone in the storage and they're now dusting off the pressing comb, dusting off the kerosene oil stove, blowing the wick. How tight? Things tight. I told you lots of promises were made. Lots of promises being made. Then they promised us a lot of things. Ashley promised us economic dynamism, a pathway to recovery. We recover yet? A pathway to recovery, economic dynamism, and resilience. Whatever happened to that? What has ever happened to that? Huh? going? How it going? We know how a lot of things started. Oh, they had their, what do you call it, inauguration COVID fest. Super spreader. How things going now? Things tight. Pressing comb tight. When people tell you how tight, pressing comb tight. Kerosene oil stove tight. That is how tight things tight, people. You all sharing the live stream, or things nice by y'all? Things are going easy by y'all. But it is so for everybody, you know. It is not so for everybody. Things are tight. Are we there yet? To this pathway of recovery, economic dynamism, and resilience? We there yet? No, we ain't there yet. Because you know why? Things tight. And COVID running rampage. 3 more persons dead just today. And close to 100 confirmed cases of COVID-19. And Frank has the nerve, the temerity, the gall, the balls to say that he's seeing a dip in the COVID numbers, the deaths and the confirmed cases. What figures Frank reading? What figures Frank is reading? I don't know what figures on COVID-19 Frank is reading. Chison Henry, do you know? Melly Mel. How tight are things by you, Melly Mel? How tight? Melissa Atwell. Is West Side still the best side? Is West Side still the best side? Because they said the COVID numbers going up there too. Is the West Side still the best side? Things are going up there. At least that is what people are saying. Those are the allegations that are being leveled, that things are tight. And these COVID stories, or the COVID chronicles, folks, are endless. The COVID chronicles, when you listen to some of these stories, oh, your heart break. Audrey Tom, your heart break. Samantha Jilts, Marcella Jacob, your heart breaks. When you engage some of these stories, one woman said to us on the Lower East Coast, just yesterday, Lower East Coast, let's put it at Pleasance. She went to get her COVID test. She went there at 11 o'clock. The folks said they can't open no more of the vaccines. She went for her vaccine. They said they cannot open any more of the vials because it is late in the day. She said she had to go way up the East Coast to get her COVID vaccines. That is what was related to us. Way up the East Coast, she said, she had to go to get the vaccine. And she is crying out that it is not fair. They got the vaccines there, but they're telling you they got to go far. I'm trying to get the exact place she said she had to go. Finding my notes here. She said she visited Mike Coney ball field. That's the exact place. Mike Coney ball field. To get her COVID vaccine. And she had to go from Mike Coney ball field where the vaccines were being distributed. Can you imagine that? All the way to Bush Lot. So we don't understand what is happening. Now you are saying people must receive their vaccines. And we are saying my body, my choice. You have sufficient information on the vaccines. You want to take it, go right ahead. You feel otherwise, that's your choice too. We're for vaccination. Like this woman. So she gone to Mike Coney at the ball field to get her vaccine. They tell her she's come too late. In the day, it's 11 o'clock, she says. Right? 11 o'clock, and she's told it's too late to open the vaccine. And that she was the only one who went there for the AstraZeneca. You know, some people don't have a career. When you have a career, I've learned this. You have a passion and you try to reach out to people and to serve people. When you get a work, it's like some of these people giving out these vaccines. Oh, you come too late. And we can't open the vaccine for just one person. So she had to go till to Bush lot. That's how tight things tight. That is how tight things tight. Melly Mel and Nadia Bob and Elizabeth Narain and Laverne Cameron. When last year I used a pressing comb? That's how things tight. When you see some people running through Georgetown, it's not because they're being robbed necessarily, you know. That's happening too. Crime spiraling. It's not because they're being robbed. It's rain set up. It's they're running to cover their head. The pressing comb. Things tight. Pressing comb tight. Stacey and Stall, Avril, and Michelle. That's how things tight. So this woman had to leave Mike Coney, go to Bushlot because you come at 11, you come at 12, you come at 1 o'clock. And we ain't opening for just one person. You all understand that? Folks, a lot of people name calling. A lot of people name calling in this country. Melly Mel name calling. Oh, there's a Primus name calling. Just today, I see Christopher Jones name calling. I gotta bring Christopher in the ring. Around the red table. Christopher Jones name calling. Marsha Glasgow. Andrew Cuthbert. A lot of names calling. Nicole Yaw. Dennis London Welchman. A lot of names calling. Folks, you all sharing the live stream. Don't only come for the information. We got to get some activism out of you guys. Share the damn live stream. You know who name calling? This Jagabat. This Jagabat name calling. Now when APNU, AFC, went into power, oh, he riled and railed. When $460 million was not audited for ExxonMobil, you all know these Jagabats? He went on and on and on. And y'all know this fellow used to have a press conference every Thursday or Friday. And he wailed into APNU AFC for not having audited ExxonMobil's $460 million. Now, this Jagabat, this scamp, is turning a blind eye to ExxonMobil's whopping $9 billion that has gone unaudited. Right? That has gone unaudited. So they just come and tell you, oh, we spent on X, Y, Z. And you say, we trust y'all. Because y'all is church people. Well, even church people, they can't trust these days. And as we are learning, if you want a friend in politics, buy a dog. You can trust this Jagabat? This is the same fella. The same people who promise they're going to review and renegotiate the ExxonMobil PSA, the contract. How they going? How they going, Ingrid King? This Bunduri, this Trench Crapo, this Trenchy, this Jagabat, this Nakavakamite. You all know them, the Hippocytes, the Sadducees, and the Pharisees. This is the leader. So you cuss APNU AFC. But you don't want to do the exact same thing, even on a grander scale. 9 billion US. You all know how it's 9 billion US? You all know how much is 9 billion US? Melly Mel, you would leave Big Uncle for 9 billion US? Oh, that's a Primus. You would left Big Uncle for 9 billion US. You said, bye-bye. See you later, alligator. Bye-bye. Well, that's the best. What will you do for 9 billion US? You know what 9 billion US would do for this country? And Jack Dio said, we don't care to audit. And that's why we saw recently Christopher Ram wailing into these Jagabats. 9 billion US ExxonMobil spending. Money taxpayers going to have to repay. And you don't concern? What is spending on? Something seems awfully fishy there. Alison Henry. Something seems awfully fishy there, Bonita Parker. And we're not having it. We're not having it. More in this pistol, more in this matter than on the pistol. A lot of people name calling more in that matter. than just the pistol. Who know? More to the story. Those of you who are not familiar with that colloquialism, the Guyanese vernacular, more in the matter than just the pistol on that Exxon Mobil story. What is the kickback these boys getting? What is the kickback that they're getting? They criticized Apnu AFC on the contract, what we got out of it, the benefits for Guyanese, and what have they done? These folks who could get bigger, better deals, what have they done? More in the Exxon Mobil matter than on the pistol. You know who else name calling? This Jagabat here. This Jagabat here from agriculture. Bisesar Prasad. You all remember there was a promised audit of the farmers' cash grant, just like there was a promised audit of the other cash grant to citizens. Yep. By the Auditor General. The president promised that audit, how those monies were distributed. And now the Auditor General, Deodat Sharma, told us recently that COVID-19 is impeding his audit of the COVID-19 cash distribution. Now, we were being made to understand, reliable sources have told us that Bisesar Prasad, he's chairman, deputy chairman for the MMA, chairman for the, MARAD, MARD, and he's also on the Guyana Rice Development Board, the GRDB board. We are being made to understand that with what little investigations have begun, he name calling. Folks, you all sharing the live stream. He name is calling. That's what we're being made to understand. And that Bisesar Prasad, staunch PPP, is being asked to resign. Well, you know things got to be not terrible, bad, for them to ask their own people to step down, and very quietly. So Bisesar Prasad, your name calling. And Bisesar, if you want to come in the ring to let us know your side of the story, just tell me when. But your name calling, Bisesar. Somebody, if you all know Bisesar, tag Bisesar, Hazelin King, and all you other folks, Roy Garraway and Johnson, Michelle Johnson, Mark Alman, Odessa Di Costa. If you all know the Jagabat, tag him, Cecile Ogle. His name is calling. A lot of other people name calling. A lot of other Jagabats name calling. Folks, I tell y'all, strap in tonight. You know who else name calling? Vindhya Prasad. The Care Bears Jagabat. Oh, if we only hug each other and sing Kumbaya, the world will be a much better place. Care Bears Vindhya. Your name calling. Now this headline we found very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. This headline, and we should have had it in quotation marks, but that being said, was very interesting. Robbery victims, single mothers among beneficiaries of government hamper distribution. Oh, somebody order. I want to see the emojis. How y'all feeling out there in the virtual world? How y'all feeling on Facebook? I want to the fast people. How y'all feeling out there? Robbery victims. So you don't get justice now when you get robbed. When they kick down your door and they snatch your chain and your cell phone and so forth. No. It's not justice. You get a hamper. They dash a hamper in your chest. Bap. And some of y'all got chest for take it off. They dash in your chest. A hamper. So it's not justice for robbery victims. The clueless. Ropes and bend, your name calling. Crime spiraling. Vindhya Prasad. Your name calling. Single mothers, I can see that because things tight. Things tight. So they rob you of your money and your valuables and so forth. And the justice you get in this country, take a hamper, take a half pint aisle, take 2 heads of shallot, Emily Soto, take a pound of garlic, Fratia Phillips, Janet Edwards, take a bottle of water, take 2 pints rice, Sandrine Beard, Claudette Harry, what are you going to take? Take a pint of split peas. That's justice for you. That was the headline. That was the story. They're proud. People in this country getting robbed every day. What are you getting in return? Oh, you take a hamper, man. What justice y'all want? Desmond Harris, take a hamper. What else you want? Take a hamper, move on. Next robbery victim. Take a head of shallot. Well, I guess with the price shallot and boras are carrying, you should be honored. You should be honored. Because they say Bore and Allion carry the same price these days. Bore and Allion. So you get robbed, your loved one lose their life and so on. Take a hamper. The hamper nation. It's a welfare state. We have become a country of mendicants. And who don't want to become mendicants in this country? Elizabeth Narine and Melissa April and Vanessa Adams and Richard Fordyce. Who don't want to become mendicants in this country? You know what they do? They start drinking soup. They start drinking soup. And it's not the good kind of soup. I almost said German soup, but I won't say German soup. I won't. I almost said German soup. I almost said it. But then I got to show you all the evidence. I almost said that. Then you got these soup drinkers. So if you don't want things to be tight, you got to drink soup. Y'all know some of them. Now, the question I've been asking, why all of a sudden, every day, Shurwayne got an opinion on something? Shurwayne went on the rock for the last year with the naked self. On the rock, covering up. And all of a sudden, this soup drinker, this vagabond, this Philistine, he has an opinion on everything. But I gotta give y'all the backstory on them. Because some people don't get the 30 pieces of silver. They don't got it. So while you see them pretending to post certain things, they have already gotten their 30 pieces of silver. And what was Shurwayne talking about recently? Oh, he's advising the other Jagabat, Claudette Singh, that swing. You know the woman, I know the woman, we all know the woman. That other Jagabat. Now, we know where it comes to politics, we low on trust. We low on trust. Folks, you want a friend in politics, buy a dog. We very low on trust. Inter-party, people in government like these Jagabats, low on trust. So we're hiring people for those top spots at GCOM. Chief Elections Officer, Deputy Chief, Returning Officer, and a whole other spots that have become vacant. And the folks have proposed, Vincent Alexander and his colleagues, let us have an independent panel to review the application so nobody can claim politics is involved and partisan politics. The least. Let us get an independent panel. Y'all think they want that? Claudette voted with the other Jagabats on the PPP side that she always votes with, not to have an independent panel. So this is what Shurwayne is voicing his concerns on. This is what Shurwayne is voicing his concerns on. But he don't get the 30 pieces of silver, along with others. So y'all know Shurwayne, soup drinker, come out of a party called Liberty and Justice Party. They don't have no internal elections for leaders and them kinds of things. He's leader for life. They don't got Congress and them kinds of things. He's a one-man show. Liberty and Justice Party. So he throws a piece of silver that he get he get deputy speaker. Right? Sean Rodney, you sell out, so you couldn't get deputy speaker. Tracy Mullen, you didn't sell out, so you won't get deputy speaker. Y'all sharing the live stream. Ruth Tessa Esbond, you didn't sell out. Ruth Jeffrey, so you didn't get deputy speaker. Shurwayne get deputy speaker. Tiffany Porter Shanks and Tracy Mullen, he also got ministerial advisor on civil aviation. Hundreds of thousands of dollars Shurwayne carried home every month. So when you see these supposed positions they're taking, as well-paid positions, these positions on issues like the independent panel for GCOM is well-paid positions that they're taking. And then you got this other jagabat from a new and united Guyana party. Again, they don't got too much elections and internal, advancement and so forth for people. Congress and so. He's advisor to the Minister of Foreign Affairs on border issues. Right? That's what he get out of it for his part. And then this cross, Jerry Govaya. During the last election, he was chairman of the Private Sector Commission. And when the government won, resigned that post to accept advisor on national security. Well, how they going for you, Jerry? Hundreds of thousands of taxpayers' dollars per month, not millions, to do nothing. And of course, dancing had the application in like Gokul Budu, another one, for CEO GCOM. He get a license now as part of a company called Green Gibraltar. Right? They call themselves guardian of democracy. Now he's guardian of a 5G network. Y'all better share the damn live stream. Guardian of a 5G network. When Don started, he was running for councillor. 5G networks owner now. Try with that. 30 pieces of silver. And then this other cross, Asha Kisoon. She come from a party called the New Movement Party. Well, the New Movement stopped moving now. It's a corpse. They're dead and buried. And one day, every member of the party, 10 of them, resign. Asha's the last man standing. Asha on the board to everything in this country. The only boards Asha on is where they're using plastic. Asha on every board. And we tell y'all, this is just the tip of the iceberg, This is just the tip of the iceberg. We're going to continue to expose and depose those who have gotten their 30 pieces of damn silver. That is what we do. Because we know you guys need the information. So the people get paid. Friends, viewers around the world, they've been paid well for their part. You know who else name calling? This jagabat. Shalimar Ali Haq. Oh, but the CCJ wasn't having it today with Shalimar. And I'm going to have to beg your indulgence because I want to read a huge portion of this article coming out of Demerara Waves. Oh, yeah, like me asking to just kick in. Just kicking like aspirin. Bam. Allow me to read this article because the CCJ wasn't having with the nonsense that is the Guyana system. We think we can carry nonsense all over the place. And for too long, we've been putting up with the ilks of Shalimar Ali Haq and what she's doing at the DPP. But the Caribbean Court of Justice wasn't having it today with Shalimar and the Nakavakamites and the Trenchies and the Jebusites and the Hittites, the Philistines. The CCJ was not having it with them, the Caribbean Court of Justice. So, there's this ongoing case that they keep prosecuting over and over of Mr. Bisram. The Bisram case. Over and over. As though they want a different outcome. I don't know what Bisram is accused of doing. But what I know is that the judgment of God is swift. Swifter than these courts. And when God ready for Bisram, He can deal with Bisram. And I want, if there were illegalities and infractions against the law, Bisram must face the full brunt of it. But we must do so rightfully and in the right order. And that was the contention of the CCJ. So, ladies and gentlemen, viewing us from around the world, Valderine Archibald and Renee Mackenzie Talbot and Pauline and Sparkling Wales and Claire Capel, here is what the CCJ said of Shalimar Ali Haq. See, I'm condensing the woman in true Guyanese style. I'll read 3 or 4 paragraphs from them waves. The Caribbean Court of Justice, the CCJ, on Thursday frowned heavily on what they regard as the power of the Guyana's Director of Public Prosecutions, the DPP, to direct a court to recommit an accused person for fresh proceedings. That is what they frowned upon. The DPP having the power to direct a court, that if the court has said they have found no case being made out against Sherrod Duncan or Christopher Jones or Valder Lawrence or Aubrey Norton, right? Or Joseph Harmon or whoever else it is, Diane Gravesandi or Penelope Howard, they found no case is being made out. They frowned on the authority or the power of the DPP to recommit a person for fresh proceedings. And here was their contention. This is the point where you really want to share the live stream. Whether the DPP is or is not a member of the executive, to me, it does not detract from the fact whether a court ought not to be directed by some other authority other than the Court of Appeal. And I hope them law students from UG and wherever else would read this. Whether a person other than a higher court can direct a court. That is what the CCJ was saying. And Gavin Matthews is going to find this very interesting as well. This is right up Gavin's alley. Whether a person can direct a court other than a higher court. That is what they're getting at here. And this was the CCJ president, Justice Adrian Saunders, was making these comments. He said, I find it very incongruous. That's the language of the law, incongruous. If someone is vested with a power to direct a court, he added, in response to a request by the attorney at law, Darshan Ramdani, to state whether the DPP is part of the executive to direct a court. He and other justices, this is Adrian Saunders, the CCJ president, and other justices made known similar positions after the DPP, Shalimar Haq, said she merely exercised an administrative function in a quasi-judicial capacity so that a magistrate could first conduct a preliminary inquiry as a stage to determine whether there was sufficient evidence for Bisram to face a trial in the High Court. And lastly, folks, the CCJ president was not at all convinced. He said, I ain't having it, Ali Haq, suggesting very strongly that the law that allows the DPP to do so amounted to a conflict of interest by a party in the case. And that is who Shalimar Ali Haq is in this instance. She is a party in this case. And now if these people are worth their salt, it is elementary law that a man cannot be a judge in his own cause. It is elementary law. So you cannot have an interest in the matter and you're prosecuting the matter as well and directing the court. It is elementary law. God of mercy. Shaming we on every stage. Now you're going to shame me before the CCJ. You cannot have an interest. You cannot be a party to a matter and you're prosecuting the matter as well. And that is what the CCJ was asking Shalimar Ali Haq. You don't find that strange that you're a party in this case, Shalimar Ali Haq, and you are directing the court what to do? And she didn't find it strange. Because you know why? Them boys come back. The PPP come back. She didn't find it strange. It is elementary law. A man cannot be a judge in his own. And let me break it down very simply for you guys. You got a dispute at your workplace against your manager. Your manager is wronging you. You said something, you may have cursed, and they bring you up for this. You may have cursed the manager, and they bring you up for disciplinary proceedings, and your manager on the panel. Your manager on the panel, and the matter concerns the manager. That's what the court telling us here. You have an interest in the Bishram matter, and you directing the court how to proceed with the matter, and they ain't getting it. You understand how we end up with Irfan at the top there? Right? But they ain't getting it because they like to do things their way. The DPP is not accustomed to scrutiny of this nature, you know. The DPP is not accustomed to scrutiny of this nature at all. Folks, you know why? Because all they know to do is protect the boys. No questions asked, no reasons given. And we spoke about this. No questions asked and no reasons given. Look what has happened since August 2nd, 2020. You all remember Brassington had some fraud charges against him in the High Court? And Ashley Singh, it was the High Court that said that these matters can be prosecuted. These matters can be prosecuted. It is the High Court that said that. Shalimar Haq dropped the case against them. Didn't give any reasons. Well, you think you could prosecute Bishram how you want now, and you don't have to answer to anybody? You don't have to answer to anybody? Things don't work so in the real world. But Ghana is not a real place. So they want to do anything and say anything. So we saw the charges drop against Ashley Singh and Brassington. Those two jagabats. And then there were private criminal charges against the switcher and the swinger, Claudette. Do you remember those private criminal charges? They were dropped as well. And then there were the law book charges for Anil. They were dropped all by the DPP. All by the DPP. Right? Because they do whatever they like. We in power now. They do whatever they like. We are in power now. Y'all remember 19 fraud charges? Y'all remember the 19 fraud charges? Huh? Y'all remember that? Those were dropped as well. Those were dropped as well. And so that is how they're accustomed to operating. That is how they are accustomed to operating. That is how they are accustomed to operating. Right? But the CCJ wasn't having it. The CCJ was not having it, folks, at all. Don't come wrong with funny. That is what the CCJ was saying. Folks, y'all better share the live stream. These are the things you need to share it for. The CCJ wasn't having it. Some stories loaded. We didn't get all of it yet. We didn't get all of it yet. We got some stories loading. They think it's every place they can carry this foolishness, you know. Anil and the Jagabats and the minions. Alexis Douglas, they think it's everywhere they can carry these things. But that is not happening here. So we see lots of things happening at City Hall. For instance, the town clerk claims she's being abused. That the council is making it difficult for her to carry out her work. We know that the town clerk is a creature of the council. Can be directed by the council. The town clerk don't direct the council directs the town clerk. And just today, folks, the town clerk had a lot of things to say. She talked about being abused and life there being very difficult. It looked as though we're going back to them sobers time. It looked as though we are going back to those sobers time. Right? It looked so. I want to hasten on. This is part of what the town clerk said just today, folks. This is part of what the town clerk said just today.
And work of the municipality. The other matter raised by the mayor is the one on payment to attorneys at law used by the council. The core of an ongoing contention is a payment of $600,000 to an attorney at law who wrote one letter on behalf of the former town clerk, Ms. Sherry Jerry, to the local government commission. When the matter was brought to my attention, I expressed profound.
All right, that's as much as we have there. Now, the town clerk is talking about a legal issue. As a matter of fact, the attorney that the town clerk is talking about, we're advised here, is an attorney that is prosecuting the town clerk right now. Right now. But we're being made to understand as well, and as we said, this is a developing story. It's loading. We're being made to understand as well, folks, that this attorney here, as we said, is prosecuting the town clerk. And we were supplied with some information that suggests it is not just a mere letter. And I mean, like, rationally, who is the town clerk to decide how much a letter written by an attorney is worth? But as against what is being said, this is a 148. This is a 148-page document of legal research and legal advice that was provided on a particular issue to the local government commission. So we're being made to understand that the town clerk is being very disingenuous in this instance here, and that it was a decision of the council on July 12, 2021 to hire that said attorney. But as I said, this is a developing case, folks. It's a developing case, and we're going to have more on that case, on this very matter. We're going to have some more. That being said, I want to get right into the main event this evening. We circling back to Shalimar Ali Haq in another program, and to the town clerk and some other issues. We ain't finished yet with those. No, they got a little juice there still. More in the matter than just the epistle on those stories, and we're going to circle back to them. But I want to invite my colleague Shurwayne Holder, who is running for office, running for office there in this race, PNCR Decides 2021, road to the 21st Biennial Congress. And I don't want to detain you guys any longer from hearing from Shurwayne himself. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, the one and only Mr. Shurwayne Holder, MP. Shurwayne, by you there is very dark. Like, apparently you don't pay this bill.
Can you hear me, sir?
I'm hearing you, Shurwayne. I would just wish you can center up yourself a little bit more, and let's get right to it.
All right, let me just, I'm using a different device, so that is part.
Take your time. I'll follow suit. Yeah. Perfect, Shurwayne. Good to have you on board this evening, Shurwayne.
Yes,
MP
I'm happy to
Shurwayne
hear
Holder.
this. I'm getting a little headache, but I'm more than willing to disseminate some information to the public and to answer some of your questions.
Fantastic, fantastic. And I'm happy that you have chosen to join us. We know that you're busy. This is a very busy period at your end, but we are tremendously privileged that you guys have kept availing yourselves in this process here for the public and also for the party members and your delegates to get the information out there. And we're so happy that you're here with us. Now, Shurwayne, first and foremost, let me get right out of that. As you know, this PNCR race, the 21st biannual delegates Congress, it is getting hotter and hotter and hotter, and we are being made to understand that there's a particular candidate that you have thrown your hat in the race for. Tell us about that.
Okay, yes, thank you, Sharon. And the race is getting hot. I want to firstly say that I'm very proud of my party and this democratic process which also to elect our leaders every 2 years. You may know, we're the only party that operates in the panel. Well, of course, the PFC and the PFP also have the democratic process. But in terms of the coalition against the other side, I think we've proven to be much more democratic than in the race. In terms of me endorsing someone in the race, I think by now it's in the public domain that I endorsed Comrade Aubrey Norton to become the next leader of the PNCR.
Shurwayne, your audio breaking up terribly, and I really want to hear. I really want the viewers to hear that very, very clearly. So if you can take your time and go back through who you're endorsing, I'd be very grateful. The audio is very, very choppy.
Can you hear me clearly now?
It is still giving us some breaks in between there.
Okay, I was saying to you and to the public, I believe already in the public domain that I endorse Comrade Aubrey Norton to become the next leader of the PNCR.
Great. So I heard you to say that you have endorsed Comrade Aubrey Norton for the next leader of the PNCR, and we are getting some complaints of the audio. Sharon, is there any way we can improve that?
I might have to change the device. Could you send me the link on? Send the link on Messenger. I may have to use my phone.
All right, great. Guys, we're going to hold for Shurwayne there because I really want you to hear what he says very, very clearly. He's asked us to share the link for him on Messenger. We're going to try to do that as quickly as possible from our end, as long as we can get it done very, very quickly. But we want you to hear, he has said so far that he endorses Comrade Aubrey Norton for leader. And, you know, this has been one of those campaigns with such a difference. There are endorsements flying back and forth. I saw one of the online news media, I think it was Newsroom, with an article just this afternoon talking about who has gotten the most endorsements of the candidates. I mean, that is where we are. That is where we are now. Who has gotten the most endorsements of the candidates? Who have gotten the most nominations of the candidates? I've heard that piece of reporting also out of the Newsroom entity, which comments are attributed to Mr. Ganesh Maipal, saying that nominations don't win elections. Who got the most nominations out of the party groups and all that? It's quite an interesting period, and I like this sense of democracy at the party level. We don't see too often in too many places, and that's why I've been saying that we're seeing, you know, some of these people are talking plenty, Schumann and the rest. One today, Congress and so on. Their members don't want to elevate themselves in the party, become GS and chair and vice chair and secretary and treasurer and so on. What's happening there? And we as Guyanese got to demand more of not only our politicians, but our political parties. You know, they come and they're preaching the democratic and democracy and all, and they had an election in 2-3 years in the political party. Nonsense, total confunction, nonsense. I want to talk to to Shurwayne a little bit more, Karen McFoy and Junan, about his endorsement and about his candidacy, his own plans, because I think there's a position also that Shurwayne is vying for, and I really hope he comes back quickly so that we can talk about all of that. Folks, stay with us. Don't go anywhere at all, at all, at all. Let me use this time to give a couple folks some shout out. Folks like Grace James and Isaac David and Gloria Plot, Juanita Day, Jason Pandama. I see Pandana, Deborah Clark, all you fantastic folks, Evangeline Reese, Pamela Thomas, Susan. And a good point too, to let you guys know, we cannot do this without you guys. Just let you know, guys, put it out there. We don't run out of water. We really want to keep this thing going. We really want to keep this show expanding and growing from strength to strength. And I'm certain, guys, that from our end, you've been noticing some subtle differences. I've sent the link to Shurwayne. I hope he can come in there ASAP, and let's keep the conversation going. I think he has it. And let me see if I have Shurwayne back with me. Yeah, I can see him as soon as he said he's up there. We're going to have Shurwayne back. But guys, great to see all of you joining us via live stream. And as I've said, as soon as I see that Shurwayne is ready and he is stable, we are going to get to going. But as I said, guys, we can't do this without you. We need all of your help. Stay with us. I see Shurwayne is getting himself together there. I want to quiz Shurwayne on what happening, we doing, where's he plans. I fast for y'all. I fast for all of you who can't ask these questions. I fast for y'all. Guys, we can't do it without you. We said, come on board, partner with us. We got Cash App available. We got PayPal. We got MoneyGram, Western Union. We got MMG. Pick one. Pick a fight. Pick a struggle. Pick a struggle. Come on board and help us. I think Shurwayne may be ready now, and we want to get back to that discussion without any further delay. We're going to give him another second or two to pull himself together, and we get to going and move things along. Great to see Shurwayne. I can see him in the back of the studio, and I think he is ready. I think he has paid his light bill now. We can get some more light out of MP Shurwayne Holder, and I think he's ready. Shurwayne, are you ready there? Good. Folks, without any further delay, fingers crossed, the one and only. Shurwayne, just center up in your area there a little bit, and we gonna be good to go. The next side, yeah. Awesome. Great, Shurwayne. Let me ensure I have your audio too.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Shurwayne. So talk to us again about the endorsement, and we take it from there.
Sherrod, I was saying that by now I believe the public knows that I've endorsed Comrade Aubrey Norton to become the next leader of the PNCR.
Great. And Shurwayne, on that note, what would you say to folks who might say, Shurwayne, I saw you know, with Team Harmon in Essequibo a couple days or weeks ago. What was that about, and why why this endorsement here?
Look, I'm a member of parliament. I'm also the central executive representative of the region. I'm on the regional committee. So any of the leaders coming into the region, I ought to be there. So I think I can, answer that first question. But I want to say that I've worked with both leaders, well, all three leaders, as a matter of fact, because there's also Comrade Van West Charles, who is also vying for the position. I've worked closely with all three of these persons. Mm-hmm. And at this particular point in the race, I've made my decision. And I would want to let the public know as to the reasons why I've made such a decision to endorse Comrade Aubrey Norton.
Go right ahead. What in your estimation give Norton the edge over Mr. Harmon or Van West Charles? Or
Sherrod, first of all, I have to be honest with myself, and I have to be honest with the members and honest with the public. I've been looking at this race. I've been looking in terms of the context of what is happening in our country. And it is my belief that we need somebody who is fearless, somebody who is militant, somebody who is ready to take on the PPP. That is one of the main reasons for my endorsement, but there are a lot of other reasons. Um, Look, I believe all three candidates are competent. I believe they're competent. I believe they're capable of leading the PNCR. But in the context of what is happening now, what is happening on the ground, the way how the PPP is operating, the discrimination, the firing, and so much more that both you and I know what is happening in this country, I believe that Aubrey Norton is the right person at this time. And look, he is a person of integrity and he has that courage to take on the PPP and defeat them. I believe that he is a leader with the required intellectual capacity to lead the PNCR and to strategically position the coalition to win the next election. I know Aubrey Norton. He has served in the party for a very long time. From the time he was, I think it was 15, he has served as a youth, and so he has served in various capacities at every level of the party. So he understands the party and he understands what it takes to win an election, to organize a party, to unite a party. I think he has the experience and the knowledge. And look, I think this was the most thing that, the defining thing that caused me to endorse him. I am listening to our supporters, our members and supporters. A few hundred persons, a few hundred delegates will determine who becomes the next leader. But we have to think very carefully about this because this has implications for the coalition and it has implications as to whether we get back into government or not. And so we must listen to the people out there. There are folks that are saying, well, look, this is internal and this is just PNC business. But I don't share that belief. I believe that this is a stepping stone and general elections is the next step. That is the next step that we will move on to. And so we must listen to even those that don't have a voting right in this election, because at the end of the day, that 200 and something thousand persons that supported us, we want to get back that support and even more. And so it is from listening to my constituency, listening to persons across the country, that was my motivation in supporting Comrade Aubrey Norton to become the leader. I think he would make an excellent leader. He's ready to transform the party. I've listened to his plans. I think he is going to promote youth. And, you know, I think that is a very important element in this race.
Very well. And Shurwayne, you know, I find this as very exciting times, not only for party democracy, but because of the implications, as you said, nationally, that a lot of other parties are going to be hard pressed by their own membership. You know, why aren't you guys engaging publicly in terms of where the party is going and who is best suited for leaders against appointing a leader, right? Setting up things so that a particular person emerges to the top. And as we see in the PPP, is not the best person, clearly, that if you had a real contest, that Irfan Ali couldn't beat out Frank Anthony and Nandalal and so on. Let us be honest with ourselves. So from that standpoint, I'm very happy. I'm very happy.
I agree with you because, look, in 2015, I believe we won because, again, I was saying to persons, it's because of our democratic process. The right leader emerged and we got into government. So once we follow our constitution and we continue to be a democratic organization, we will get back into power.
Yeah. The other side of that, you said you've had a chance to work with all of the persons vying for leader. You have also talked about working with Mr. Harman. You worked with him over the last year as opposition leader. Let us say, let me be the devil's advocate and say Mr. Harman is able to eke out a win. Are you willing to work with Mr. Harman as party leader? And how do you reconcile that back as being an MP supporting Mr. Harman as the leader of the opposition? Would you resign? Would you continue serving as an MP under Harman leadership?
Sharon, look, at the end of this Congress, I have no doubt that we will unite as a party. While I'm supporting Aubrey Norton, and look, I want to put this into context.
Talk to us.
Hillary, I'm straying a little, but we'll come back. Hillary Clinton failed to become the US president because when you look at what was happening in that time, she couldn't make it. Donald Trump came to power. Joe Biden didn't make it at a particular time, but he made it this time because of what is happening on the ground. So if we look at that and we look here right now, that is why I believe this is, frankly speaking, this is Aubrey's time. Notwithstanding that, I have utmost respect for Mr. Joe Harmon. As you know, he is my boss, our boss in Parliament. I have a great working relationship with him. I admire him, but as I said, this is not about my friendship or my close relationship with him. This is about country. This is about us getting back into power, and I've made this decision. Now, I am willing. I have written to the leader of the opposition. I've written to him as a matter of courtesy, as a matter of respect.
What did you say? What did you say?
I basically said that I wish him luck, best of luck in his campaign. I said that, look, I am prepared to work with you, continue to give you 100% support, regardless to wherever this race goes, regardless to whether you become the leader of the opposition or you remain as regardless to whether you become the leader of the party or you remain as leader of the opposition. I can see Mr. Harmon has a role definitely to play in the administration. He has some specific qualities, and I'm certain that whoever comes out on top, if it's my candidate, Aubrey Norton, I'm certain that he will work with Joe Harmon. And I'm prepared to work with him equally.
Fantastic. Let me stray with you on that Hillary tangent, because we know in that election, Hillary won the popular vote, and you said you've been listening to the ground, and the ground, according to you, is saying Norton, and you are following what the people want. But we know at the end of the day, this is about delegates. Do you believe that that he has the confidence of the delegates where it matters, and you don't end up like Hillary not having the electoral college?
Sharon, we are very confident. We are very confident, but at the same time, we have to do the work to ensure that Aubrey Norton and team takes the leadership of the party.
Great. You talked about your candidacy and you wanting a substantive role in all this, and I think it's pretty much known what you're aiming for. Tell us about that.
Well, I think it's known by now, but for the sake of your audience, I'm submitting myself as a candidate to become the chairman of the PNCR at this point in time. I've been communicating with various groups across the country, in my region and across the country. I've been communicating with leaders in Georgetown and around the country, and a lot of them are supporting me. And so I'm giving it a shot at this time. I believe that the party, our members and our supporters want to see that mix, that blend. They want to see experience mixed with youth. As you know, about 60, maybe over 50% of the population is youth. And so our party needs to transform and have youth in its leadership. And I think a Norton Holder arrangement will certainly do well for this country and the PNCR.
Great. I know it's pretty interesting that you have said that, and I love the fact that you've put yourself out there like this. It reminds me of when James Bond ran for leader of the party too, and was willing to run for president as well. That kind of gumption. But in this post as running for chairman of the party, there are other persons running too. I see Royce Dale has his hat in the ring. Amans, and then you have the incumbent. I noted a news article out of Newsroom just this afternoon in which it says Volder backs Norton as he picks up most nomination for PNCR leader. Volder has not signaled. I think that article said that she's out of the running for chairman, and who would have, as leader of the party, who would have thought 2 years ago? Because if you'd asked me 2 years ago, I said Volder had it leader hands down 2 years ago. But look at where we are in this race now. Why not Roysdale Ford? Why not Amanza Walton this year? Why not Comrade Volder Lawrence? Why Shurwayne Holder for chairman?
First of all, let me answer the question on Comrade Lawrence, and I want to thank her for what she has done for the party as chairman. Her stewardship, I think she has done a lot. Of course, there's always room for improvement with every leader and any leader. At this time, as I understand it, Comrade Lawrence will not be running for any post within the party. Sherrod, you need to understand how the party operates. Any group can nominate any member. Any group can nominate any member. It is for that member to accept that nomination. So a number of persons will be nominated, and some will decline.
And Sherwin, I have noted that you have said she will not run. She has not said that. As a matter of fact, at the last press briefing I saw Comrade Lawrence in, she did say exactly what you're saying. When the nomination period comes, and if and when she's nominated, she'll make a decision at that point. So you seem to be sharing some information that she has not shared as yet. So maybe you know something that you don't. Talk to us.
I'm not definitively saying that, but I'm saying to you that as far as I understand, she will not be contesting. There are a number of other leaders that will not be contesting for any position within the party at this time. And to answer your question about my challengers, I would say, look, I have a very good working relationship with Comrade Ford and Comrade Waldron. I think they're great members of Parliament. You would know, Sharon, being an MP yourself, we have a very good working relationship. We complement each other, we support each other, and after this Congress, I think that whoever wins the seat of chairmanship, we will all support each other. So I have no issue. I think the contest is very healthy. But I want to say this. Look, these are professionals. We're all professionals. We're three professionals, the two of them being lawyers and myself being a mechanical engineer. Let me put it this way. The party will have a lot of cases to fight, a lot of battles. And I think with their skill set, they will no doubt do very well in that department. But when you come to being the chairman of a party, it's a different ball game, Sharon. And I think I understand that very well. I would put it this way: the chairman of the party, I would put it as like a CEO for a company. It comes with managerial and organizational skills. You must have those particular specific set of skills, and I believe I can bring that to the table. I want to give your viewers, for the sake of your viewers, I want to give them an opportunity to understand who I really am. For those who, some persons would have seen me in Parliament and seen me on the ground representing people in my region, but I want to give your audience, a background, my background, where I come from, who I am, who is Shurwayne Holder. Now, I have a family history. People that say you just come.
But that's been bandied about. They just come.
I don't mind that terminology. And if you want to use that, then maybe all three of us will be placed in that category.
They just come.
First of all, look, I come from a family which supports the PNCR, have a long history in the PNCR. I'm actually third generation. My grandfather was in a position, I'm not sure if he was the chairman or you had that position at that time, but he was like a chairman in the region, here in Region 2. Forbes Burnham used to come to our home. Our home was labeled as Burnham's Court. It was called Burnham's Court. For the elderly people, the elderly folks that would remember that, it was Burnham's Court. Now, my father has taken up the mantle from his father, and he has become the regional chairman, the party regional chairman. And so, myself now, as a central executive member, a member of parliament, I'm also following in their footsteps. So I
So
have a long history.
you are
I have
you are, as people would say, you're born PNC.
Okay, if you want to say that, I was
You're
born
born PNC.
PNC, Sharon. But my problem with that is that a lot of people say, well, look, I born PNC and I've been as a member for 30 years, 20 years, 10 years, whatever. But the important thing is what you have been doing as a member of the PNCR. You understand me? You can have your membership and stay dormant for many years and still try to brag about that. But I'm a different individual. But let me get back to who I really am. So in terms of my schooling, I went to President's College on the East Coast there. Um, After President's College, I went on to university and I obtained a degree, Bachelor's of Science degree in engineering with distinction, mind you. And
Fantastic.
then I started my professional career. I worked for 10 years with a foreign company. I began as the planner of that company at age, I believe it was at age about 22 or 23. And by age 26, I became the senior engineer for that company. By age 29, I was a manager in control of a number of departments, 5 different departments to be exact. I control the parboiling unit and a whole host of other departments. And I was very influential in terms of turning around the company and making it profitable to some extent. So I bring to the table that managerial experience with handling people. When you get to that stage of being the chairman of the party, you gotta have that ability to connect with people, understand the different factions, and know how to deal with them. And I think I'm best positioned for that. Let me give you my latest history within the party. Now, my first experience in politics was as a presiding officer. The first time I wrote the exam, I became a presiding officer. They called me a just come at that time too. But I have a mind of my own. I excel at what I do. And I was a presiding officer back in, I can't remember which elections, either 2011 or the elections before that. I campaigned for the PNC in 2011 for the coalition, but that is as much of an active role as I played at that time, because remember, I was a professional in a job, so you had to be careful with that. Um, I eventually got into the PNC as a youth leader, and I began to work on resuscitating groups and doing political work. And the party, recognizing that, they co-opted me into the regional executive as youth leader. I ran on the local government ticket, 2 elections, 2016 and 2018. I was a candidate then, and I became a chairman for a party group, so I understand how the groups operate at that level. And then I became the central executive member in 2018. So amongst the three of us, I am the only candidate that understands the party and how it functions and the policy from the bottom up. And I think that's a distinct advantage for a chairman, for an incoming chairman. Because look, Sharon, this is not about speaking well on a platform. You know, lawyers speak well, and I don't want to throw any shade at my dear colleagues. My apologies if I'm doing that, I'm doing so. But lawyers can speak well. They're paid to speak. I believe I can also speak well. It's a matter for the public to determine who can speak better than whom. But the point is that you have to get the work done. You have to get the job done when you sit in that seat as the chairperson. And I bring to the table this experience within the party of understanding the policies of the party and so forth. So I am best positioned to be second in command and to give the kind of support that the leader will need to have to execute his vision and his plan. So that bit I wanted the your viewers to understand. Now, another thing that I want to say is that
And Sharon, having said that,
yeah.
what do you see the role as the party chairman as, and how will you bring your own imprint on that office there of chairman of the party? What do you see the role of the chairman of the party as?
Okay. Great question, Sharon. Now, as I said before, the chairman sorts of operates like the CEO of a company. Now, the chairman must oversee the entire administration of the party and the implementation of its policies and projects. That is part of the main function of the chairman of the party. Now, once this new executive and I'm trying to give you my vision here as the chairman. Now,
Right ahead.
once this new executive is elected, we have to begin that rebuilding process. We have to begin to rebuild the party. But to rebuild the party, you must have a vision. You must have a vision of what the end product must look like. You must have a vision of what the plan is. Just like if you're building a house, you must have an idea of what the foundation must look like. So
Which is what?
important it is very important that you clearly outline the vision for the party in a manner that all Guyanese could see and understand. That is very important. And to my mind, it is a vision that must address issues in this 21st century. Mr. Norton has addressed, he has highlighted or outlined some of the issues faced by the party and how he intends to deal with it. And I must say that my vision aligns with his. And so that is one of the reasons why I endorsed him. Now, that vision, to my mind, must how to put it? It must cover an egalitarian society where all have equal opportunities and where the country's wealth is distributed to all in an equitable and fair manner. That is a core part of my vision for the party. Now, having settled on a clear vision and a mission, it will be time for the implementation aspect of it. There must be a structured approach to this with accountability, of course, at all levels. Now, some key components of the implementation would be one, I have about 10 of them if you would allow me. Public relations. Now, you would know, Sharon, and you would agree that the coalition, our term in office, we did a lot of good in infrastructure, in
Plenty. No,
education, in health, plenty.
no.
But look, but you know what? We did a lot that could, put the people on the road to the good life. But you know what? Our party, from a party perspective, our party's PR was not up to task. We, the coalition and the PNC, well, we're talking
So
PNC here.
I hope you're not share that the PR people there.
No. I'm not showing shade. That is why I say it was not up to task. And everybody, look, this is universal. We all agree on that. I would believe. Now, they opted to use DPI, but DPI is for government. It is not party public relations. Even though now you find that the PPP do not make that distinction. The PPP won't even broadcast the opposition contribution in parliament. You know that. So we must work on PR. It is it's a very important element in the party. The next thing I would want us to work on is the use of technology. We're in the technological age, and so we must maximize the use of technology to disseminate information to the people and to enable our members, no matter where they are in this vast country, to participate participate meaningfully in the democratic process of the party. We have to use technology and in more frequently to report to the membership at all levels, to engage and inform them of the work of the party on a regular basis. So I see technology as being very, very important. I'm just setting my light here, Sherrod.
Right
Um,
ahead.
Governance the governance of the party is another area that we have to work on. To my mind, the governance must be more decentralized. Mr. You know, you have to delegate more. Now, Mr. Norton spoke on several occasions of specific committees to deal with specific aspects of the party. Sharon, we have a lot of talent in our party, and we have to maximize the use of that talent. So I think our governance strategy has to evolve. And again, I think my thought process is in line with Comrade Norton's vision, and so we would make a good team at the top, just at the top there. Of course, we have to work with all and sundry who are elected and if not our supporters. Point four, I think education is important. Now we have to educate our members and the nation of the role that they have to play in terms of governance of this country. But for us to do that, we have to train a cadre of individuals who would be able to execute. And so I would place education very high on the agenda.
Sharon,
Um,
let me ask you this: having said that, you said that your ideas on, for instance, the committee's issues in terms of utilizing that as a basis of capacity building for the party coalesces with that of Mr. Norton. How else would you say? Because I would hazard to think that the leader himself. Let's argue this is going to be for in this instance, Mr. Norton. How would you say some of your plans marry or congeal even more with some of his? You mentioned, for instance, the committee's issues, as I've said.
I think he in terms of technology, I think we both share that idea that we need to modernize the party. We need to bring it to this 21st century era where we maximize the use of technology. Look, you can use WhatsApp groups. You now have Zoom. You have to engage the members. You have to look at these different um, these different techniques. No longer are meetings kept in a room where all the members just you have to wait on members to come, and this person
Especially in
has.
COVID, especially
Yes,
in
especially
this
in this COVID.
pandemic.
COVID has taught us a lot. There is the upside to COVID. I must say the downside is way outweighs the upside. But there are things that we can learn from this COVID environment. So I think technology. Aubrey is what? Aubrey is in his early 60s. I am in my 30s, but I think that is one of the key areas where our vision actually collides in a large way. So I think technology we will go hard at utilizing technology. And so we will engage, it will allow us to engage our membership in a more meaningful way. And I think it would help us a long way, and even the coalition, and it will go a long way towards us getting back, mobilizing our party, mobilizing our supporters, and getting us back into government.
Fantastic, fantastic. Sharon, I really want to thank you for this time you spent here with us. As I said, I think this is a fascinating era that we're living in, and I think here is the PNCR out front again, demonstrating leadership in politics, and we don't see this too often. Clearly, we ain't seen with them jagabats on the other side there. They go in the secret rooms and they orchestrate. We want to hear from because he know too much and he can go along with everything that we talking.
Sharon, could I say something? I
Right ahead,
sense that
Sharon.
you want to close.
Right
I
ahead.
sense I sense that you want to close, if I'm correct.
I'm wrapping up.
You're wrapping up. Yes, I
Right ahead, Sharon.
understand. I understand it. I appreciate you having me here for so long. Look, I want to speak directly to the delegates. Um, these are serious times. We're under severe pressure. I understand what you're going through. I understand what the country is going through at this current moment. And I have said before, we need a strong leader. We need a fearless person who can challenge the PPP, who can unite our party, who can mobilize, bring us together, and to challenge the PPP and to eventually beat them at the next elections. I firmly believe that Aubrey Norton is that person. And let me just put out a subtle warning that look, this election is very, very important, and we must make the right decision. It would determine whether we are to stay in opposition or we move forward back into government, take us our rightful place into government. So this election is very, very crucial. And so I would want to ask that you pay close attention to it. And I would want to ask that you see the vision of Aubrey Norton, you see his plans, you understand the outpouring of support for him across the country. And I would urge all the delegates to choose wisely when they get to the polls.
Fantastic, fantastic, Shurwayne. Again, I wanted to give you the space there to make that pitch. I want to thank you, Shurwayne Holder, Member of Parliament. I have the privilege of serving with Shurwayne at a parliamentary level, and he's a fantastic parliamentarian. And like all the other candidates, I wish Shurwayne well. I ain't got a dog in the race. I got a cow or a horse, but not a dog. Shurwayne, thanks for availing yourself in the ring this evening and answering these many questions. There's a woman, Michelle Beaton, who say fast. I want all the details. I asking for everybody. Shurwayne, thanks again, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Folks, the one and only Shurwayne Holder there talking to us about his plan, his vision. And I'm happy with what I am hearing, talking about his endorsement for Mr. Norton, Mr. Aubrey Norton, talking about why Norton and not Joseph Harmon. Speaking directly to his candidacy, his plans, how they gel with Comrade Norton's, and also talking about why him, why Shurwayne, what makes him different from Roysdale or Roysdale Ford, who's contending also for chairman, and Amanzo Walton this year. What makes him different? Talking to us a little bit about his family history, born PNC, and he's relying on that, and his experience as a manager there for several years in mechanical engineering, to help to take him and his team over the finish line. Folks, I want to thank you guys for joining us here in the ring. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us in the ring. As you know, I'm going to stick around for a little bit. I know some of you are going off to other places and other programs. I'm going to stick around for a little bit. Mind your business now, Michelle Beaton. That's what coming for do now. But thanks to each and every one of you who would have joined us here in the ring this evening. From around the world, folks, Michelle Beaton, Janet Coates, Dorian Cook, I see also Roxanne, Liverpool, all you fantastic folks. All the Austins watching tonight. Wink, wink. All the Austins. Joylyn Cocan, Diane and Gavin Holder, Shanna Young, Waite and Jamal Aziz. All you fantastic folks. Folks, I love that we have this happening. You got candidates like Shurwayne Holder coming, young, fresh legs on the field, throw his hat into the ring, ready to do his thing there. We got Denise London Welchman, Tracy Mullen, and all you other folks joining us. Thank you so much. And I'm really thankful that all the candidates have been availing themselves to come in the ring and to face tough questions. They want high office, and part of public service is facing tough questions, believe it or not. And Shurwayne stood his ground and delivered what he had to say there. I'm tremendously impressed by that. Shurwayne, again, to Shurwayne and team, thanks for coming in the ring this evening and letting us know your plans and why you guys are out here doing what you guys are doing. Thanks again, Laverne Haricharan. Kelman is there, and Annie Reed. I see Zerald Johnson. Is it Johnson? Paul D'Angelo. All you fantastic folks. As you go, guys, remember to share the live stream wherever you guys are joining us from. I want to see those emojis as well. I see lots of kudos for Shurwayne in the comment section there. I see lots of well wishes for Shurwayne in this PNCR Decides 2021, the road to the 21st Biannual Delegates Congress. Good to have so many of you out here tonight. I want to talk with some more people. I want to talk with Valdo, Big Auntie Valdo. I want to talk with Valdo. I want to talk with James Bond. I want to talk with some people. I want to talk with Abner Ali. I want to hear their thoughts on this race. What's going on? And more than that, the future of the party. That's the most important thing. The future of the party. Good to see you, Richard Fordyce and Joylyn Cook, Ovida Blackman. I see Carol is here, Marilyn is here, Nikki is here, Ovida. I see Roxanne, Ingrid King is here as well, guys. As you go, share the live stream, and I want to see the emojis. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you guys so very much. Stay safe. Remember, as you go to social distance, wear your mask, sanitize, practice all the COVID-19 protocols that are in place for your health and your safety, that of your friends, family, and loved ones. Thanks for joining us this evening, guys. We're going to see you right back here tomorrow night, same time, same place. Stay safe.